we're going to move on now. Everything had some time to dry, and you can see how nice the pearlescent paint looks on the primary hull. I love that. You get the little sparkle. And what I like about the Tamiya was that it's thin enough where we have all the detail still very visible. And when we put on the Aztecing, it's going to look great. Okay, so what I want to do in this video is we're going to focus on the sensor dome area, and we're going to think about lighting the parts of the ship. Now on screen, we got the registry markings in the front, and that's where the most prominent light is coming from. And then in the back, it's a little bit less, but there is the word Enterprise that's on the back over here, and that's lit up. And there is also some faint light coming out the sides. But the most prominent is in the front because it's got longer to go for the registries. Incidentally, I just want to show you all the different parts that we had added to this build. You can see this was the aftermarket parts. The sensor dome and all of the areas where the lights are going to come out. Now, let's show you guys what originally came with the kit. You can kind of see the differences. The sensor dome is pretty large, and the kit's, when you look at it side by side, it really does look kind of off, but pretty small. Even on the illustration, it's a little bit larger, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to light that, and this is going to be fun. This is my favorite part of the build. Alright, so what I want to use is I have some SMDs that we're going to run and we're going to use for a lot of the lighting. The only problem is I had gotten some SMDs last time, and half of them ended up being bad and not working. So that's what I have to deal with. If you guys have like some you buy all the time and you never have that problem, could you let me know? Because I would love to be able to get some where they won't be an issue for not working. Alright, let's try to get all these out now. I got this pack specifically for the Enterprise. I'm just going to cut it. It's going to go in my lighting case anyway, so. So the way they come, well, they have their own. These came with the resistors, but let me show you how they come. They come kind of bundled together. It's almost like hairs, and it's very, very small. And you might not be able to tell, but there are different colors. On these they're not, they're the same color, but on the other one that I had gotten, one of the wires was a little darker, and that would signify the negative, but this one doesn't have that. So we're going to have to watch how we wire these. And on the ends, you can see there's just a little bit of the wire showing, and these are very, very small. Alright, so why don't we set one up, and I'll hook up the resistor and we'll power it up, and I'm going to show you guys where I'm thinking of putting it. Alright, this is temporary because we're going to end up soldering them all. Alright, I just want to do that just so we can use one for illustrative purposes. Here you go, see that? Alright, so what I want to do with this is we're going to run it through. We're going to run it through the bottom, and we're going to actually have it coming from there. So what I want to do is let's bring it through this way. See how that looks right now? So why don't we figure out how we're going to get this hooked up to power. Alright, I want to hold it in place. We're going to keep it, and I want to place it where you want it facing upwards. So let's try to spin it around. Yeah. We're going to have it right about there. And we're going to have to angle it kind of upward. But we got to get it close enough to the edge where it's on the inside where we're going to still be able to know the light is coming from this. See, the problem is if I wire them and glue them and solder them into place and we power them up and they don't work, that's going to be a problem. So it's going to be out a little bit more. Like that. So let's try to do it this way. Let's disconnect it. And I'm going to try to position it now where we're going to have it facing. See, the way the light is, let me show you guys. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. The SMD is on one side. See, one side is lit and one side has the leads going in. I hope you guys can see that. What I want to do is I want to get the side that's lit facing up, and what we need to do is angle it out ever so slightly. Alright, let's see how that's looking. Alright, let's go ahead and hook it up to the power supply. Alright, see how this is looking now? Bring it up. So we're going to have to kind of angle it just like that. See, that's a little better. We're trying to angle it. See how this is going to be illuminated? See, it's got to do that for all four sides. It's the way the model is made. There was more area of the filming model, and the sensor dome area was a little bit closer to the outline of the hull, so the light could flash up a little easier. See that with this one is such a drop. When it comes down to the sensor dome, it's tough to do this. But I think what I'm going to do, we're going to run all the lights and I'm going to tape them in place, and we'll make sure they all work, and then we'll solder them. Okay, so I soldered all the leads what we got to do, what we got to do now is we got to make sure they work. So let's hook them all up, and we have to do this just to make sure they're all working. See, and it's not working. Oh, well, this is not, alright. Let's try that again. Onto the, there we go. So this one is good. We get the negative that's hooked up with the resistor. So this one works. So we're going to put this to the side, and we're going to eventually put them all together. Okay, let's try the next one and make sure that it works. All right, so we got 4 that work, and the problem that I've had with these lights, at least what I've had, is a problem. For every one that works, 3 of them don't. So you may get 30 of them for $14, but you get what you paid for. And at least from what I've experienced, for every one that works, 3 don't. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take these, we're going to put these together now. And we have all the negatives. Make sure they're not touching, as I don't want to go through all that and have them short out. So just like that, so they won't be touching. So let's do the positives now. So now if we did this right, we're going to be able to hook everything up and all 4 lights will come on. At least that's the plan. You guys can see we got all 4 lights. Beautiful. So those are all soldered. What I want to do, I want to think about running the lights through the hull. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tack them in place with hot glue. So we're going to unplug the soldering iron, and we're going to move towards the glue gun. So let's disconnect this for now. So now we know these are all set. So we're going to be careful with those. And because we're using 9 volts, and we're going to be using a 12 volt DC, you got to be careful with that. Because if you accidentally bypass the resistor, you'll blow out the bulb. We're going to run the bulbs through for now. And then when we're satisfied where they are, we're going to hot glue them in place. Alright, so let's make sure these do not touch the battery leads. Yeah. Alright, we're going to do the same thing with this one. That wasn't too bad. All right. Okay, let's hook up the bulbs. We can start to think about positioning them now. Alright, so see the way the bulbs are now. We're going to start to pull them in through the tape ever so slightly. See, I want it right there. That way there we'll be able to position it. And let's do the same thing for the back one. Make sure that tape doesn't come off. Right there. Let's do the side right here. Right there. And lastly, we have the front one. The front one was the one that was giving us the most trouble. So we'll do it just like right there. There. It's a little bit better. So keep in mind we're gonna add more lights, but this is just for the sensor dome area. So we're going to have to position them. We're going to keep them like this. I think this is good, but what I want to do now is I want to position we're going to position them. What I want to do right now is I just want to secure the lights. So let's get them, let's take the power supply off and we can think about hot gluing them in place. So let's get the hot glue gun. So we're going to tack them first right where they come out. It would help if we get the glue gun hot first. So we're going to tack them right where they're coming out, and that'll lock them in place. And I think I might put a little bit in the areas on the inside as well. Alright, so we have both sides, and I think I want to do the back next, because remember, the one that's going to stick out the most is going to be the one in the front, because that's going to illuminate the registry markings. Okay, so if you guys notice, I brought the side ones in a little bit because it's not that bright coming out of the sides, and I brought the back one in just so it's peeking out, because it just has to illuminate the word Enterprise right there. So now I want to do the front, and I think I like where the front is because it needs to be sticking out a little bit, so we can, from a side view, we'll push it and we'll crimp it so that we can angle it to light the bottom. So I think I like it right there. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to tack it in place. There. So we got everything tacked down pretty good. So now I think what I want to do is, we don't want these wires to get all messed up and tangled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of bring them together. Same thing with the other side. We don't want them to get tangled up in anything. So I think what I want to do is I want to just tack down the, use a little bit of tape. And this doesn't necessarily have to be permanent. I just want it because when we're done everything, we're going to hot glue everything in place. But for now, we'll use the tape because I don't want these getting in the way of the other wires, because we got a lot of lights that we're going to be putting into this. So let's put this over here. Just like that. Are we there? I'll make sure nothing happens. And let's go ahead. We're going to light them up now. We're done with the glue gun sides. But the front one, we're still going to manipulate. We're going to tack it in place, and we're going to actually angle it up. But we're going to be fine-tuning that. So for now, you can see the side. We don't really have to have it coming out all that much. Same thing with the other side. With the back, we just really have to have it lighting up the word Enterprise that's going to be in the back. And the main thing we want is the front. So this is the sensor dome. We got all the lights in, we wired them up, we put the resistors on, we soldered them, we put them into place, and then we hot glued them. And in the next video, my friends, we're going to be doing the beacons on the bottoms. We're going to sand these, we're going to remove these, and we're going to put actual LED lights coming through, as well as we're going to light the thrusters. That should be really fun. And let's see, what else we got? We're going to be lighting these windows, and that'll be from the top. I'll use some lights to illuminate the windows, LEDs. And lastly, we're going to be lighting up the windows. Now, the kit came with, they were clear, and they were meant to replace the parts from the model kit, but I elected to use the model kit parts. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to put the clear resin up against the back, and that'll diffuse the light a little bit better. So my friends, I hope you're enjoying this build, and until the next video, which will be coming up very soon, I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.